Good day. I was recently reading an article from illinoispolicy.org, the pension reform key to protecting Illinois services taxpayers after the fair tax rejection. Illinois voters rejected the income tax hike strategy to fix the state's financial budget, nearly 55% of voters saying no to the quote-unquote fair tax. Now Illinois should turn their attention to reforming the state's worst in the nation pension crisis. According to the article, J.B. Pritzker now warns he will look at a combination of painful cuts and tax hikes on everyone. All spending programs, including core government services, could face a 15% cut across the board. He's also considering supporting a tax hike of nearly 20% from the current flat tax. Current flat tax in Illinois is roughly 4.95%. That would mean the tax would go to roughly 5.94% for it. After voters rejected the fair tax, he suggested that these cuts would be painful. He didn't mention any alternatives to the state's budget, and the pensions tend to be the largest cost driver in the budget. Currently, Illinois' pension crisis is the worst in the nation. Fiscal 2019 unfunded pension liabilities in order to pension debt to gross domestic product for the state, top 5 states, Illinois is number 1. Pension debt, $229.89 billion, and the debt to GDP is 26%. That means more than 25% of the state's budget should be going toward pension reform and funding the pensions that are a known cost out in the marketplace for it. Since fiscal 2000, a 501% increase in inflation-adjusted pension numbers. 501%. So if we compare that, the percent growth in Illinois state expenditures by category from fiscal 2000 to fiscal 2020 on an inflation-adjusted basis. Pensions were 501%. The next was health insurance. Health insurance, everybody's got health insurance. They've seen their premiums increase and that for it. That inflation increase was only 127%. So the inflation factor for pensions was almost 4 times more than what the health insurance portion was for. One of the state's 5 pensions, the Teachers Retirement System, TRS, recently announced a $310 million increase in costs over prior year projections. That means that they're going to be spending more. The pension fund is already underfunded. Where do the additional dollars come from for it? The Governor's Office on Management and Budget estimated the budget deficit for the current fiscal year of 2021 at $7.4 billion without the $1.2 billion in first-year revenue increases from the progressive tax. The governor now must propose a balanced budget for the upcoming 2022 fiscal year in February and face a deficit similar to the historic magnitude for it. The flat tax increase of 20% is doubling down on Illinois' already failed strategies, according to the article for it. Voters clearly rejected the income tax hikes and said no to the governor's fair tax proposal. Moreover, recent tax hikes have failed to improve the state's finances while harming Illinois' economy. From 2011 to 2018, Illinois' debt quadrupled to nearly $190 billion, despite a major tax hike that brought in $37.4 billion in additional revenue from tax years 2011 to 2017 and was made permanent after that. Meanwhile, these tax increases have driven Illinois' total state and local burden to one of the highest in the nation. The 2011 state income tax hikes cost the state nearly $55 billion in gross domestic product, along with roughly 9,300 jobs over a 4-year period. Residents are voting with their feet, heading to the states with lower taxes and better managed finances. Illinois has lost population every year for 6 years running, driven primarily by adults in their prime working years, leaving for other states. The most common reason given for wanting to leave is the high tax burden, according to public opinion polls conducted for NPR and the University of Illinois Springfield. The analysis is People are walking with their feet and they're leaving the state. More people leave, less people to tax. Credit agencies have also been clear the reliance on the budget's gimmicks and one-time measures will looked at as unfavorable and will cause formal downgrade on non-investment grade or junk status for the state. In June, Illinois became the first and only state to borrow from the Fed's new municipal liquidity facility, issuing $1.2 billion in debt to cover the operating expenses for fiscal 2020. Pritzker signed into bill borrowing up another $5 billion in additional lending authority from the Fed. But reliance on further borrowing will not stop the Illinois from becoming the first in the nation junk-rated status. Investors are already treating Illinois bonds like junk, according to Barron's. The bottom line is that as a resident of Illinois, potentially other states as well, you may need additional income with which to cover these additional expenses that are going to be headed your way, especially in Illinois, given the potential tax increases that go along with it. If you'd like to discuss options to generate additional income for yourself, please feel free to give Milton Flanagan a call at 630-235-5273, or you can email me at mflanagan, that's F as in Frank, LANAGAN, at FlanaganFinancialServices.net. Thank you very much, and I look forward to speaking with you. Have a great day.